to the Simple Gift Show. We are so thrilled that you have chosen to join us tonight. And this happens to be the National Day of the American Cowboy. And that's a great day to have our special guest on this show. You are watching Simple Gifts, the Sawyer family band, made up of the four Sawyers. David, my husband, daughter Leah, son David, and I'm Kathy. And our special guest today is Devon Dawson. And I can't wait till you meet Devon. We are thrilled that she's here in studio with us. Before you have an opportunity to meet her, we're going to show you a little bit of an event that Devon attended. And Leah, why don't you tell us about what we're about to see?
Keep showing you some clips from my senior recital. You've already seen a few, but we're going to continue showing you some special moments that we feel like happened that evening. So what you're about to see now is a twin fiddle tune that I did with my friend Ridge Roberts. Twin fiddling is a very traditional kind of music, and it's where two people play fiddles together in harmony. And a year ago, Ridge and I won the National Twin Fiddling Contest in Weiser, Idaho. And this is one of the tunes that we played at that contest and one that we played last month at my recital. So hope you enjoy this one. It's an old Bob Wills tune, one of our very favorites to play, and it's called Milk Cow Blues. Go ahead and roll that video, Matt.
1, 2, 3.
Well, that was such a fun evening at Leah's senior recital, and hearing Ridge and Leah play Milk Cow Blues together was just such a treat. And Devon, you got to be with us.
I
We're
know.
so happy that you were there.
Me too.
That night.
I'm so glad I went to that. That was a very special and such a Texas-centric evening, and you're just playing that fiddle so great. This little petite thing, she's got 10 miles of talent.
Well, and Devon, you've seen her since she was
I know.
bitty.
Yeah, we have a few photos of you as a young buckaroo. How old were you? You were like,
I think I was 10 or 11 when I first got involved with the Cowtown Opry and really started getting to know you.
Well, and we're launched into this conversation and we haven't even introduced you.
yeah.
So I am so happy. Here in the studio today is our longtime friend, our kids' longtime mentor, Devon Dawson.
Howdy.
And so, Devon, if you would, one of the things that you've been so special with us about is the time and the effort you've invested in our kids.
Yeah.
But there was a time you were a kid.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about who Devon Dawson is and where you came from.
Well, I am the kid of a musician and a great guitarist who I totally adored. And he gave me my first guitar. Dad gave me my guitar when I was 9. It was a 4-string Stella. And I had little hands as a 9-year-old, you know. You played fiddle, so you didn't have to deal with that for a while, but you play guitar now. And with the guitar, I felt it was a rite of passage to get from a 4-string to a 6-string. So I really worked at it. There was a moment when I was trying to practice an A7th, which is like the first bar chord you'd ever play, like on a 4-string. It's done by barring all 4 strings. And I just would cry, I can't. And Daddy says, yes, you can. You just have to keep after it, keep practicing. And so I had the gift of my mentor and teacher in the home. So, and I believe that's the same situation here, very similar.
And that was your dad.
We are musician families, and we understand some of the ropes. But yeah, and by the time I was 12 and 13, I was backing him on stage. I was his rhythm man. And he said at that age when I was little, he said, if you really want to do this, I'm going to teach you how to play guitar like a man. Yeah, that was back in the like late 1960s, or actually middle 1960s. And I guess there weren't too many women players. And as a result of working in the stockyards for many years now as an adult and mentoring kids, it seems more and more gals are coming forth, more and more young ladies are coming forth, and they're super talented. And so the type of music we love is Western swing, especially. It's the official music of Texas. And I love seeing these young women enter a once totally male-dominated realm, you know, and playing great, you know, just strong, good stuff.
Well, and Devon, I've seen you take this love you have of the music and then the love of the Lord.
Yeah.
And share both of those. With people that you mentor and that you help. I've seen it in my children. There's also a story of a gentleman that we both know.
Right.
That was at a really difficult time. And I think both of those lights played into his story.
That's for sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. You're speaking of Jessie Robertson and my work in Cowtown Opry. Now, I joined the Opry in 1996 and just started my job by the founder. She gave me the job of starting a Sunday afternoon show that would be a mentoring organization for adults and kids. And the kids came in actually a year later, but the Buckaroo Club. But anyway, as a result of mentoring adults, I met Jessie Robertson, I had no idea he'd been through so much. He'd lost his wife, he'd had cancer, one health thing after another, and depression. And nothing had lifted it. And I met him in 2006, and his real deep troubles started about 2002. So for 4 years, he hadn't had a true smile on his face. And when he first saw me and the Cowtown Opry perform, it was a Fort Worth stock show, and he had relatives that insisted he came, and it was God. It was a God appointment. And the minute we started playing, he just experienced a release of joy. And you know, that's what that is. It's not so much Western swing's a magic thing that's going to help everybody, but in the case of when God is working in your life and he leads you to a ministry and he leads you to where he wants you to be, you're going to have a great joy to do that. You're going to almost be like a wild horse you can't hold back, you know. And so he didn't realize it, but within 3 weeks, he would be well established as a member of the Cowtown Opry, and he was smiling a lot by then. Well, so I'm no dummy, and the first time we sang together, I was backing him in harmony on Tumbling Tumbleweeds, and I was stunned at the beauty of the blend we had with our voices. And I said, you know, I do a lot of duo work, you know, on my own, in addition to belonging to a bigger band that was active. And I said, let's do some duo. And we just clicked. And so Jessie went from feeling guilty about smiling at all because he'd lost his wife, she wasn't there to share it, and into really with both feet being one of the most engaging, fun performers. And even today, when people ask him, why do you do this? He wants to share his gift so that others' burden will be lifted for the few minutes that they're enjoying an entertainment. And that's his motivational gift, is to lift others, and because he's been there himself.
So I feel like, Devon, you and ultimately Jessie seek the Lord
Yeah.
and long to look
Yeah.
on his face.
Oh my God.
And that
yes.
shines through in what you do.
Yes.
And David, you put together a Movie Monday. We call it Movie Monday because it shows on Monday. And honey, just introduce the scripture real quick.
Yeah, well, it's Psalm 27:4, and I don't know, it's kind of an interesting one. It's written on a piece of 3/4 inch plywood.
Awesome. All right.
All right,
Let's have Matt run it. Well, Devon, we heard the story of how God used music and used his light in you to reach out to Jessie Robertson. There's another Jessie I want you to talk to us about.
Yes. In addition to Miss Devon and the Outlaw, before that ever happened, in 1998, I had the overwhelming need and desire to learn to yodel, and it just sort of was on me heavy. And I knew that I needed to learn to yodel. Had no idea where that was going to take me. But the practice thing, it sounds horrible. If anybody's trying to yodel, just get alone somewhere. Don't subject your family to that. In any case, within a year, I was doing a pretty decent version of Cowboy Sweetheart, and I was doing that at a jam session. And by the way, I knew that I needed to be at that jam session months in advance. And it turned out it was my audition to become Jessie of Toy Story 2, the singing voice. And the Riders in the Sky happened to be at that jam session just when I was in full tilt yodel. And they contacted me within 3 weeks. And what's funny is they didn't know my name. I left the event. They didn't know where I was. It was Cinderella. For 3 weeks they spent to try to find me. And so finally the phone rings at my house and they said, "We think you're the voice of Jessie." And I said, "Who's Jessie?" And the character had just been, was fixing to be introduced in Toy Story 2. So one thing led to another. Within weeks, I was in Nashville recording with a soon-to-be Grammy-winning Disney CD.
Oh, we'd love to hear it.
And this is one of the 2 songs.
Awesome.
I was born in Oklahoma in the rolling Osage Hills, and I rode my pinto pony at full gallop for my thrills. And a song of joy and gladness bubbled up inside my heart and burst forth in merry music. That's how yodeling got its start. I'm Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl. I'm dainty as a fairy, princess of the prairie. I'm Jessie, the little yodeling cowgirl. I ride along, I yodel my song, dawn till dusk till dawn. I'm Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl. I dee-yodel-ay, yodel-o, I yodel-o, yodel-ay, yodel-o, dee, yodel-o, 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 dee, yodel-ay, yodel-o, dee, yodel-o, delay, I yodel-o, 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 dee, yodel-ay, yodel-o, 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 dee. So I moved to California. I became a TV star. Broadcast waves and beams and rays, cast yodeling near and far. My yodeling swept the country, an epidemic that all caught us. Now everybody knows me as the epic Gladys goddess, but I'm just Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl. Yodel-o-delay, I yodel-o-delay, yodel-ee-lo. I'm Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl. I ride along, I yodel my song, dawn till dusk till dawn. Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl. I dee-yodel-ay, yodel-o, I yodel-ay, yodel-o, yodel-o, was some coyotes out there.
Devon, that was great.
Boy, those high notes will get you every time.
Oh. Well, thanks for introducing us to Jessie Robertson and Jessie the Yodeling Cowgirl. There's yet another project you're working on, an inspirational project with Cowgirl poet Teresa Burleson.
That's right. She's doing like 6 of her poems and originals, and I'm doing the same number of original songs, and they're about the Lord. And this particular one I wrote, a few months ago. I met a cowgirl who had a beautiful long braid, a shining braid that went back down her back. I saw her from the back, and I hurried up to meet her because I just thought her hair was beautiful. And as we got to talking, she revealed how that she had come from a very low place. She had lost everything, was on drugs, on the street, had no home, no job, no family, lost everything. And the Lord met her there and brought her back. She'd even lost her hair and through malnutrition. And when the Lord met her there, he built her up and she began to walk with him, and she loved him intensely. And he gave her back her hair and thence the beautiful braid. So as we talked, I said, is there a guy in your life? And she said, well, not right now, but I'm just going to keep dancing with my Jesus until the right man comes along. And I said, honey, that's a song. So that's how this little song got to be born.
Had Me At Howdy.
You had me at howdy. All the guys I meet leave me a little cold. I guess it's hard to live up to the dreams I hold. It's not being snooty, it's just being bold. 'Cause the King of Heaven won my heart so long ago. There's not a man on earth can beat my first love. Lord, it's never lonely walking with you hand in glove. My heart is hidden in your heart, I know it's true. And a man would have to seek you first to get to me. Oh, you had me at howdy when you asked me to your dance. You swept me off my feet with your song. I'm picking up on your lead, waltzing with you through this world. And when the right man comes along, you're gonna get me to the right place at the right time. Beside you is where I belong. Oh Lord, you had me at howdy when you asked me to dance. I'll be dancing with you, Jesus, till the right man comes along. Your forever love is what I'm longing for. I accept your invitation to step out with you on the floor. I'm doing things I never could. Your lead is strong. Your frame and balance never gonna lead me wrong. You gave up everything for me, I know it's true. And you're alive again, and there's much more to do. If you bring a man to me to stand beside, either way I'm good, you keep me satisfied. 'Cause you had me at howdy when you asked me to your dance. Swept me off my feet with your song. I'm picking up on your lead, waltzing with you through this world. And if the right man comes along, you're gonna get me to the right place at the right time. Beside you is where I belong. Oh Lord, you had me at howdy when you asked me to dance. And I'll be dancing with you, Jesus, if the right man comes along. I'll accept your invitation to engage you in flirtation and get caught dancing with you, Jesus, when the right man comes along. Oh yeah, that's for all you girls out there.
Oh, isn't that the truth, Devon? That's where our identity is, right? In
Amen.
Jesus, not in
That's
a
right.
human, but in
Amen.
Jesus. So, Devon, thank you. Don't go very far.
Okay.
We'd love for you to join us back here at the very end of the show. As you just learned, Devon's a songwriter. You know, my husband, David, if you've seen any of the previous episodes, is a songwriter. And so these kids have grown up around songwriting, and it's just a natural part of life. And so, Leah, we're going to do a song that you wrote. Would you tell us about it?
Yeah, as we've mentioned, this is National Day of the Cowboy, and I just love writing songs that I love writing cowboy songs and songs that kind of represent the older songs like Sons of the Pioneers, the vintage Western stuff. So that was kind of the spirit of this song, trying to emulate some of the older songs that you'll hear. And one of the ways that I just see God's creation, just where I'm just amazed at the handiwork of God and all that he's done, is in a Western sky, and in the creation around us. And I love how Western music kind of celebrates that. So I wrote this song called Western Skies, and I hope that when you hear this, you'll be reminded of God's creation and just how great he is and how great his work is. So this is called Western Skies. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Stars appear to decorate the desert. The moon shines high so darkness can be severed. The river is lit by the sky above them, but that is somewhere far away, far from us. Sometimes when I am wandering why anyone would want to live where they can't see the sky. The highway lies before me like a silver strand. It beckons me to follow to the promised land. I always long to hear a coyote sing and see a hawk flying on the wing. I will always be content to let the world go by. So I gaze up at the magic of a western sky. And to me that's the magic of a western sky. To the sky, then whisper to listen to the songs of prairie critters. The grassy plains dance to the songs they're bringing, and western scenes are painted with their singing. I always long to hear a coyote sing and see a hawk flying on the wing. I will always be content to let the world go by. So I gaze up at the magic of a western sky, and to me that's the magic of a western sky. Flying on the wing, I will always be content to let the world go by. So I gaze up at the magic of a western sky, and to me that's the magic of a western sky.
Well, that does it. That brings us to the end of another show here at the end of the National Day of the American Cowboy. So thrilled to have Devon Dawson with us today. You can find us at thesimplegiftsband.com. We'd love to see you live somewhere, so take a look at our schedule and come find us. So thanks again for being with us. Join us here in 2 weeks right here on the UA Network, 8 p.m. We'll see you then.